Happy Monday, everyone. Today we are going to plant, as promised, I'm going to show you how I plant basil. We're going to do this for inside growing. Of course, it's too cold here in Canada where we are living in Ontario. So we're going to plant some basil and we're going to plant some spinach. I'm also going to do this in the hydroponic system when it shows up. Hopefully that's soon. I was hoping last week that it was going to show up sometime, but it hasn't yet. I'll be patient, and we'll all be patient and wait for it. So I'm going to bring my camera down and let's get to it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do before I start planting is for my basil, I take a little container of water like this, and you'll need a baster, and we just take our basil seed, and I'm going to dump this directly into the water. So I'm just going to go like that. Now you can see that. Make sure we get all the seeds out. Now you can see the seeds are just little black dots in the water. What's going to happen with these? I'm just going to give them a stir with my baster here. What's going to happen is the water is going to soften the seed, and it's going to form like a, almost like a jelly typed casing around the seed. I just find the germination is a lot quicker, and it just seems to do a lot better when it's started this way. So as that's sitting and going to start swelling up, I'll show you before we plant what it looks like. We are going to plant our spinach. These are the plants that we started. We did 18 celery, and I've got 5 different varieties of peppers. If you go back and watch the second last video I did. And now we are going to do, I'm going to do 12 of each basil and spinach. Now a lot of people do have trouble growing spinach, me included. It is a cool weather crop, so you can't put it anywhere. You don't want to start it anywhere where it's warm. I mean, you can warm, but not like, you don't want 70 degrees or anything like that. You want it in a cooler area. Our basement, we are turning into one section of it into a growing room where it's cooler for this type of thing. And we can grow a lot more because we do really want to get into growing. And actually, we're thinking about maybe even getting into the market again. Maybe. We'll discuss that later on. So anyhow, what you're going to do with the spinach and with the basil, I just take a Sharpie. You can use your finger as well, but you can take your Sharpie and just kind of make a little divot. I'm hoping you can see in the center of each cell. And with spinach, you want to go about a 1/2 inch deep. We'll cover it after it's seeded. So I'm going to carry on and do where I'm going to put the basil as well. So with the spinach are fairly big seed, which is nice for planting just a couple in each cell. I'm going to do 2 or 3 per cell. So I'm going to just grab 1, 2, we'll go with 3 per cell. And if one doesn't germinate, that's fine. And if they all germinate, you can always thin them out. So we're just going to continue doing 3. Oh, that one went 4, but that's all right. And these are nice. They're a little bit lighter than the soil, so you can actually see how many you're dropping. With the basil seed, because it's so dark, it would be very hard to see those tiny seed going in. You wouldn't know how many you're going to be planting. We're going to plant quite a few per cell anyhow, but it's nice to know that you'll be able to see what you're planting. There we go. So, like I did with the peppers and celery, we're just going to take our soil that is on the outer edges around the divot and cover that up. Now with, I have to give that more water. With spinach, they like to be moist all the time, okay? So don't let them dry out. They do like to, they like to be watered. So make sure that you keep that in mind. Whereas the others, you don't want to water too much. But that's the nice thing about these cells. They have the holes in the bottom so it drains into the tray, the solid tray underneath, and it'll catch any water. And once in a while, if I find, when I lift this up and I find that there's too much water underneath, now I've just wet all these, so there is water underneath. Once this is all soaked in, I will bring it to the sink and I'll drain that out. I'll just lift the one corner and tip it. So that's that. So we have 12 spinach, and again, I've marked my tags, and I've got spinach times 6, oops, and spinach times 6. Pretty simple. Okay, now you can see the basil is actually turning like almost like a bluish color. See that? And you can see that gel forming. And I'm just gonna give it another little stir. I use like lukewarm water. I don't use cold water. I don't use hot water. Just a nice lukewarm temperature. And it's pretty cool how that happens. So what you want to do is you want to just take a little bit of the liquid and the basil. You can see the seed inside of the baster, and we're going to tip it up, and we're just going to go like that. Okay, that one's not draining very good. I'll put that one into that one. And just grab you don't have to, like, don't grab a ton, but don't be shy. I like to plant my basil thick, and once they come out of these cells, they're going to go into pots, and then you have this nice, big, lush, thick basil plant growing in each pot. And we love basil. Making pesto and freezing it, even fresh basil on a tomato sandwich is absolutely fantastic. Okay, I've got lots of seed here. And you're just going to try to get it into the center hole. Okay, this is going to be a lot of seed, but that's okay. A lot of seed makes a lot of basil. It's almost like, I don't know if any of you, a lot of you may not have ever seen fish eggs, but that's what it reminds me of. Caviar. Okay, take the last of that up, and I'm just going to dump that one into that, and into that. And that's it. Easy peasy. And cover that up. You don't have to cover this too deep. It will start germinating because it's got that casing on it to protect the seed, and it'll keep it moist. But you do want to cover it somewhat. And like that. I'm going to actually bring the camera down on this one and show you, because I don't think you can see from there. You can see the blue seed, or bluish colored seed, gray, I'm going to say. And yeah, as long as that isn't fully exposed, you're all good. So we'll just continue doing that. And there. Simple, simple. If you do, after you water again, if you do find that a lot of the seed is exposed, just top it up a little bit with a little bit of new soil. And I'm going to give this another water and let it really soak in. And then, I'm watering the table. And let it really soak in, and then I will drain my tray. Get in there. This is why I normally have a garbage bag on my table, but not today. I didn't think I was going to make this much of a mess, but I should have known better. So that's that, and all this water will set in, and then I will put my dome back on, and they will go under the lights in the grow room, and that's it. And now I'm going to take you into, give you an update on my onions and lettuce. All right, and here's a little peek at the onions. These were planted, how long were these planted? I think 9 days ago. They're doing very well. And you can see, when I go like this, you can see the rows that we made. Remember the trench that we dug? And I can't get up too high because of the cords and stuff, but the trench that we did, actually we used this little stick to make the trench. You can go back and watch that video if you haven't seen it. Very easy to grow, and what's going to happen soon with these, I'm going to let them get a little bit thicker, the stem or the greens, and we're going to give them a haircut, which I do. That makes a bigger bulb on the onion all the time. It works fantastic, so I'll show you that when that time comes. And then my lettuce up here is doing very well. Now, what had happened was when I was watering, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. I watered too much. So I do have some that have kind of, there's not too many here, some here, that have kind of died off. They got too wet. So just watch your watering. You wanna wet them, but you don't wanna like drench them. And make sure your container has hole in the bottom. And yeah, so there's the spinach and basil that we just planted under here, with as well as the celery and peppers. So this room is not super warm, and until we can move this spinach downstairs, and we're actually going to move the kale downstairs too, stuff like that that can handle the cooler temperature. And then over here we have the tomatoes, which are doing awesome. And I noticed, ooh, that was my knee that cracked, people. Look at, there's a flower gonna start opening soon. Beautiful. And the kale is starting to do well. It's getting a little bit floppy, but that's fine. And then my other tomatoes. So these guys are bouncing back. I had over fertilized, and the leaves were starting to brown off, but it's all good now. That's that. Well, I hope you guys all have a great day, and we will see you shortly. And I got to think of something else I want to plant. Hopefully the hydroponic system shows up soon, and we can get going on that. And that's going to be a really fun video. So you guys have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.